Hmm. Welcome to my podcast, AirTime with Agnes Kru Yoga, a podcast to inspire your yoga and your teaching as a yoga teacher. And today is my episode number 3, and I'm super thrilled to welcome professional singer and voice coach Sheela Gathright as my guest today. Though we met actually in Mallorca, she is a native New Yorker and grew up in South Bronx in a family of musicians and actors, artists. And of 80s, she moved to Germany after having studied stage performance in New York. And since then, she is actually sharing her time between Berlin and Mallorca. In Germany, she became a famous TV act and singer. And now we're lucky to have her here a lot on the island. So let's welcome her, my guest, Sheela Gathright, to my podcast today. There she is. Yay, applause.
Buenos dias. Good morning.
Buenos dias. So please, that was my introduction, but please tell us a little bit about yourself. A few words from you.
All. I've lived in the Bronx. I also lived in Boston. Well, that part you didn't say. And I lived many years in Germany. Now I'm here in Mallorca.
Mallorca.
Yeah, and I used to do choreography, and also I used to be a model, but 30 kilos less. But many years ago. But in any case, yeah, I've lived in different countries, and now I'm here in a very old village in Spain. It's about 200 people, so it's a big difference in New York or Germany.
I actually don't hear you so well. Could you come a little bit closer maybe to the camera? Sorry. Yes. So we both actually live in a little villages here in Mallorca, no? And enjoy village life.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Close, I can move. Hold on, y'all. I get it together in a second. Hold on. Sorry about the noise. Here we go.
Good. Perfect. So you as an artist, for sure, quite difficult. There's another guest, little catty. For you as an artist, quite difficult, pandemic times, no? How were the last year for you, actually, in times of pandemic?
I was very lucky because I live in the countryside, and actually I had an amazing time because it was, of course, quiet, no air traffic, and actually no noise at all. It was amazing. I really every day went out just to experience it because it was so unique to hear.
To experience the silence.
Silence. Every morning, every evening, I used to go out to see the sun rise and the sunset. It was amazing, and
beautiful.
I got a chance to get to know my neighbors. Because normally if you're working all the time or traveling, you don't really get to know your neighbors. And this time we did. I did.
That's true. It's actually something, it reminds me right away of something very important, what you said in one of our workshops. No, we offered regular workshops with each other, yoga and voice. And that was so surprising now for me to hear from a singer to actually enjoy the silence, which is like the opposite of your profession. No, it's all about voice and singing and like kind of loud. No, and in one of your workshops, you said that the silence is like one of the most important parts in music. You always have to come back to silence and zero.
Everything is. If you're always talking, always moving, it's very difficult to feel really what you want to say or express. So when you're quiet, you have the space. It's a very space that something can happen, something new can happen, or just feel what's happening. So in music and also speaking in the daily life, silence is very important.
Yeah, beautiful.
I had silence during the pandemic. I loved it. I took a lot of pictures. It was amazing.
And are you working on any projects right now? As there was so much silence, did you use it for you personally also?
Well, not really. I sort of like had a jam session every Thursday in front of my house, which was very nice for my neighbors, because the person who was living right across the street is a drummer, so we jammed. And
In your
very
playground? In your
no,
playground?
in the village,
In the village. Because
And
actually you have also, I love that name. You have, it's called Playground, Sheila's Playground, the house where we did the workshops. And it's so beautiful for actually adults. Everybody was excited. Oh, I drive to the playground, you know, where I'm allowed to play and to be loud and to
that's
enjoy.
why I call it playground. Sorry. And we get to enjoy life, you know,
Yeah.
just fun, you know. And I love the class because that's what you have a combination of very tense yoga, because I don't do very much yoga, but in your class, and then it can be also very playful. So I like that, the combination.
I don't recall anymore really how we met. I think I saw you in a concert as a singer, and everybody was telling me, that's Sheela, like famous Sheela. And I was already working as a yoga teacher, and I was aware of that the voice is so important. If you guide, like in yoga, if you guide students, it doesn't have to be as a yoga teacher, but in general, if you guide your audience through something, either information or into meditation or whatever. No, and I felt like there's actually a little bit work to do for me. And I asked you for a session, and it was so interesting for me because everything you did, I always thought like, oh, that's yoga. Oh, this is pranayama, this is breath work, and everything felt so familiar to me. And I think this was also the reason that right away after the first session, I asked you, do you want to work with me together? No, because I also know that it's like a rule, if you work with people, with students, that you can say one thing like 500 times and they don't get it. And as soon as someone else says the same, but with their own words, they like, I didn't know. So I know, in this moment, I knew that if my students don't get something with not using the mind or using the breath or to relax or whatever, maybe a singer with your own words can transport this information better. But I was really surprised about this. Yeah, finding so much from yoga actually in your session. Is that a coincidence? Do you actually do yourself a lot of yoga or spiritual practice?
No, I've done some vipassana meditation. I've done meditation in general, not naming it, just sitting there and being quiet. But the thing about being centered and relaxed connects with yoga is because in order to sing, you have to be relaxed. Because your bodies, wherever you have a blockage and you're tense, the voice doesn't flow. So that's why yoga and singing goes very well, or meditation, anything that relaxes you, because most of the time as a singer or even maybe whatever you're doing, we like to do it. And it's very hard for us to not do. Just let things flow, you know. So when you're singing, if I'm tense, my voice, it doesn't flow. If I relax, breathe, go into my breath, then it comes. And the answer, or whatever, the voice comes. It just comes. That's why yoga and singing goes very well together. And also,
So you would say it goes well, yeah? Would you, for example, even singer, would you recommend singer to do yoga or to do breath?
Of yoga, meditation, or just anything that relaxes you, you know, and bring you back to your heart and to your breathing and to slow you down. Even though I'm very nervous because I've never done this before.
I can't hear that in your voice.
I'm very happy you asked me about, okay, something different. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for accepting my invitation. So I actually know also a producer, and he never did yoga before, and I introduced him to yoga, and he was so excited about that since then he always tells all his clients, his artists, actually they have to do yoga. No, because it has such an impact on releasing the voice and to find the full voice.
Yeah, that they are also, as you know, introducing it to schools and businesses. Yeah, definitely. It works. It works.
And though this podcast today, I'm very interested in development of yoga teachers. So I thought to invite you to talk especially for yoga teachers. But of course, everything what we're talking about is also for people who in general talk in front of people, like teachers, or if you hold conferences and you have to talk in front of an audience, it's the same. No, it would be great to,
It's a form of communication. So when you are relaxed, you are more, like I just said before, you're centered, and you also can, and you feel your heart. And the things you say and do has a different feeling than when you, like I said, in the tense, or you're just in your mind, So it's okay. Well, even if you say something that maybe it's a little, because in life, sometimes you have to be very direct. But if you put your attention to your heart and say that, then you won't hurt the other person, and you won't hurt yourself either.
See again, yoga. You're very yogic. Talking with ahimsa, not hurting others, non-violence in your words.
If you, as a singer, and you're very aggressive with your thoughts, because everything to do with singing or speaking is your intention, and this is what comes out. If your intentions are good, it will come out good. Very simple.
Yeah, I remember also you said that in one of our workshops, like you can say, even it's not about singing, no, in your courses or your workshops, and it's not about singing necessarily perfect, but like how to use your voice. And it's the difference if you go to a supermarket and you say at the when you pay, like hello, or you say hello, how are you?
Yes,
no? Or like what you put into your voice. No,
yes.
It's even those simple things.
Curious and being awake. That's the thing. When you are a singer, it's important that you are there. You're present. So if not, like I think, I don't know if I told you before, when the voice is the whole body. It's not just the throat. You have to integrate from your toe to the top. Everything is integrated. So if you are just speaking just from your throat or whatever, it's sort of like eliminating the other part of your body. So it's everything. It's everything in your attentions, and it's coming from your throat like this, and it sounds totally different if it's combining your heart and your spirit. And it's another feeling, and the people can feel it. If you're closed or you're open. Children are like, you have your son, and they're very free until you start telling them to shut up. And then things change.
Yeah. I try not to do that. Sometimes I say but
that's the beginning, because children have these amazing voices. They're free. I always say children and people after the age of, let's say, 70 are very free, because they don't have any. They're not afraid. They're not expecting you to like them or not like them. They are just being themselves. So they have the best voices.
It's also interesting what you said about the intention in your voice. I actually posted that yesterday in my Facebook group. I have a group for yoga teachers, and we were talking about the voice. And I read that one job of the voice is actually not just to carry information, like you say, hello, how are you? So you want to ask how you are. But one job of the voice is also to elicit the emotions you're feeling in the other person in front of you who listens. No, and this is very important. And that's when it starts to be important, for example, as a yoga teacher, if you feel insecure, if you feel nervous, the other person, it moves with your voice. No?
Yes, I think that happens. But so if that happens for yoga teachers, for instance, well, they could just take a second, just turn around for a second and touch your heart, and then bring your thoughts to your heart, and everything will be okay. Because sometimes I do that too when I'm very nervous, and say, "Oh, she's okay, relax," and then it takes this.
You bring your mind and your attention to your heart center.
Yes, and this calms you down. Or do an inner smile.
Or do
an inner smile.
An inner smile.
calms you down. And just slow your breathing down. That's it. Just slow it. Because if you're nervous, or like now I'm a little bit nervous. You're breathing very fast, so that means, okay, calm down, Sheela. You're with Agnes. You're in Mallorca. Take it easy.
We're at home.
Let's go. Your cat in the back.
And I think I told you also, I don't know if I did. I've done several workshops with so many different people. And the workshops with you were the ones I've never seen such a big change and impact after workshop in people than with you. I saw such a huge liberation and happiness I've never seen in any other kind of yoga thing. So do you see that also kind of like a therapy or something, what you're doing?
I wouldn't say that because that's not really what I do. But everything we do is part of life. And if you're a yoga teacher or a singer, we are trying to integrate what we're doing into everyday life, which is, of course, not easy. But and sometimes for someone to relax in the class or to express their feelings, because a lot of people feel suppressed, of course, emotions come up, and it's normal. But I'm not a therapy, and I think in my classes you can come in and take whatever you need out of the class, but it basically is about very simple things that we just don't take into heart. That maybe that's what it is, because the life, you know how it can be very complicated, and everything has to be complicated. But the thing is, it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept and be who you are. And also with singing, everyone wants to be a great singer. Everyone is a great singer because everyone is unique. And the thing is, when our classes or when I work with people, I show them that their voice is so unique, like their fingerprints. There is no one like you. And when you accept that as a singer or a speaker, then it's easy. It's just that when we start to compare with other persons or teachers or singers or other people in general, that's when it becomes complicated. But when you realize there's only one Sheela and one Agnes, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we're
No,
all
I think also definitely people felt that, and I always felt that in your workshops, like you
even though we
make people feel very comfortable, and especially even in groups and workshops, it's even maybe easier with you one-on-one to use the voice, but in front of others, even it's even more like a bigger step to cross. When
you realize that you're unique, but still we are one, because when you're singing, it's not that you concentrate on yourself. First, that's what the first part of our sessions are normally, is to see how you're doing. And once you find out how you're doing for that moment, that because you change all the time. You know, tomorrow is totally different than today, and 5 minutes later you're different. It's normal. But how I'm feeling, okay, I'm relaxed. And then you start to reach out to other singers, other the space, other nature. This makes a difference. It's not all about me. It's about me and the nature, me and the singer, me and the musicians, me and the space that I'm in. This is the difference. Because
not being so self-focused, no, or self-conscious. I think this is the worst. And so, what do you think? What do you think is the biggest challenge people face, maybe in the very first session with you, if it's about expressing their own voice, using their own voice?
It's loving their voice,
loving
their voice, and loving and everything. You know, I'm not when I sing. It's not just me singing. It's my grandmother. It's my mother. It's my best friends. I first figure out how I'm feeling, my breathing, I relax. Then I invite all of these spirits to help me to be where I am today. You know, I'm not here because there are many people who done things in this world in my life, even before I was born, that I can be talking to you.
Okay, that's interesting. So again, something yoga teacher will understand very well, to invite when you step up, we don't step up on a stage, but into a class, for example, into a yoga shala, then maybe to invite your support, your tribe.
Family, your people who love you, people who just guide you, and also people who like just you can decide on. It's very personal, but then you're never alone. And then if you connect with other people, it's like, wow, she's standing there, but it's like I'm never really alone. So it's many things you can do as a singer or a speaker, or you're there. Okay, why am I doing yoga? Why am I singing? Because we want a better world, more relaxed in our own way. There are different ways of doing it, but this is a nice way.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely make people happy. I know that in your concerts. And yeah. Is that a theme you actually talk about in your sessions, like overcoming fear or finding confidence? Is that something you also talk consciously about?
Yes, and that's because very often, like I said, you're so concentrated on yourself that you don't realize you're connected with everything. So if I'm singing or if I'm nervous and I think of the tree or the nature, all of a sudden, it's not my voice opens up, Or if you're talking to someone, you're thinking about them too, it changes. You just take the attention totally on yourself. I mean, of course, like I said, the first part is to relax. This is very important because if I'm tense, then everything around me is going to seem tense. But after that, just connect with wherever you are, wherever you're around.
So if I teach a person and I see there's something on the mat happening, what is maybe not good for them, whatever, I can adjust. No, I can adjust with my hands or whatever, with my words to find maybe a more relaxing pose or a pose you don't injure yourself or whatever, you find deeper into your breath. Can you adjust people somehow in their voice? Can you?
Well, the first thing is the body position. Like I just changed my position. It's to find if you're sitting up straight or if your neck is lower. So you can just see this the position of the body changes your voice. So of course I see if someone is tense. What was the question?
If you can adjust people in their voice, so you said like the body posture, for example.
Body posture, and also seeing where they're focusing. If their voice is more in the chest or the throat or the nose, then I said, well, why don't you just try to bring it into your third eye? Or I don't say third eye because not everybody understands that, but I just say bring it into the place where they're curious and awake.
That's beautiful. The curious, I like.
Staying curious and awake. Oh yeah, this is life. I'm here, and all of a sudden the voice is there instead of being very shy.
Also, something what I remember is actually very fun. In I think the very first workshop, you had little dreadlocks antennas everywhere, and we were talking about from where does the voice come from. You mentioned that today also in our interview already, that it's using the whole body, but then it's also about projecting, like how does it come out? And you said let it come out of your hair, but you had literally your antennas, so you could even see that your hair even helped you to project it to everywhere, whilst my hair is like, oh, okay. But I remember it was actually a fun story. I have to change my hairdo.
No, it's just everywhere. My teacher, Hein, one of my teachers, he said your bones have to sing, your body has to sing, everything has to be alive, and that in order to singing. So it's like if you're alive in all parts of your body. So it's not just your throat, it's not just your brain, it's everything. So it makes it different. That's why we do a lot of movement with dancing and showing how to use the body, just to say, oh yeah, I have some shoulders and I have some hips and some feet and knees. It's all part of the whole picture, So it helps you also, for instance, if you do have a cold or you're not feeling well, that you say, okay, I still can sing because my voice is not just my throat. My voice is everything. So even if I have a back pain, I can still sing. And I prefer not to have one.
I actually know also from a friend of mine and student that her teenage daughter, I think, is practicing with you. I think this also is in teenage years a big theme, to one way you're about to find your expression. On the other side, there's a lot of fear, and no, so it's also very interesting with teenagers to work.
Yes,
in that.
yes. I worked my first on. It's very hot here all of a sudden. I wanted to do this outside, but it was too much wind. And now it's coming back up.
So we were talking about using the voice, and this can has a big impact on us. And in yoga, for example, you use mantras. We know singing mantras has an impact, and even but also just listening to mantras has an impact. It can be soothing and relaxing and focusing. So it's not just the sound you produce, but it's also the sound we listen to, of course. No, sound is also a meditation tool, like gong baths. Do you use something like that for yourself? Do you use sound yourself to, not your own, but from outside, to bring you into a different state or something?
Well, I try to listen to soothing music when I'm at home, or just to the nature, go for a walk. That's very soothing. Of course, living in the city when it's very stressful. That's why I live in the countryside, because
and not in New York anymore or Berlin.
the city, yeah, not even Palma. It can be too much because of the sounds. So, and I didn't realize that until I went to someone, a nutritionist in Hamburg. He told me, his name is Schubert, yeah. He said, you should move to the country. And I said, no. He said, yes, because you're always around a lot of people. You need the contrast. You're always around people. You have to, when you get home, you should be quiet because you will never recharge your batteries. So that's why I'm living in the countryside. And it really makes a difference because listening to your surrounding really affects you. So, okay, we do yoga in order to be in, because in India and other places, it's absolutely not like here. We have a luxury like places, it's very crowded and you need to be very centered in it, of course. But here we have the opportunity to have a lot of silence. So that's why I listen to the nature. And also for music, it's a lot of music that soothes my soul, and also I like the sound of a gong or someone's playing the Tibetan bowls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned that already a little bit, but I would like to know also for others, because I think it's a big question. Do you really think that everyone can learn to use the voice like properly, like in the full expression, that others enjoy it by whatever voice, to be guided, for example, meditation and pranayama in a class? Is everybody able to sing? Even as a yoga teacher, you even have to chant mantras, no, in front of others.
The thing is that when it's coming from the right place, everyone can sing. When it comes from liberation in you, like it's coming from your heart, then everyone has a voice. Of course, like a friend told me many years ago, someone I met actually, he said, you like the stars. The stars. There's always some that shine a little bit brighter than others. It's always going to be that way. But you're a star. And it's the same thing with the voice. There's some voices that are just incredible, but it doesn't mean you can't sing. It just means, you have another form of expressing yourself. But it doesn't mean that someone's not, even if a person who has a very loud voice, doesn't mean that a person who has a soft voice is not heard. If you listen to sound, even the lowest note or no sound is, you can hear it and feel it. So every voice is everyone could sing. It's just that people don't trust, or a lot of singers think they have to be the loudest and the best. No, you can be exactly the way you are. You're fine because you're there. Everyone's a star. There's some a little bit brighter than others, but it doesn't mean, like I said, that it's not, your voice is not important. And it doesn't even mean that your voice is not heard, because a lot of people screaming, you don't want to listen to them.
Yeah.
So I think everyone has a voice. Everyone. It's just loving your voice. That's what I always say. Love your voice, and it's amazing how it sounds much better. And not, thinking, oh, I have to be a superstar or I have to be the best. Then you're in trouble. Because then that's
I heard that also as a tip for yoga teachers, actually, that there seems like to be like an idea how a yoga teacher should sound in a class, like very soothing, and like, so some put on like a voice and rhythm, which is not their own ones, just because they think they should sound like that. But it's about using your own voice again. No? Don't sound like others.
No, speak authentic. You know, that's what people like. You know, if I sing always the same, or try to always, which is impossible, or try to sing like someone else, it's like, why am I trying to sing like her? I mean, they sound wonderful, but if I believe and trust my own voice, and of course you have to practice. Of course, you have to work if you want to be a professional singer. You have to do exercises and stuff like that. But I'm just in general, if you want to sing, I mean, there are many countries where they say they're amazed that people get paid for singing because they sing all the time. In some countries, like Africa or other, they're singing all the time. So it's in my family. When I told them I was a singer, I was like, "What, you're singing? You was always singing." I said, "But now it's a little bit different." So it depends on your background, your history. In our family, everyone was singing all the time. You know, but some countries it's something very natural. In some countries, it's something. Oh, if you're a singer, it has to do with work or being famous or whatever.
Yeah, but again, know this, what we're talking about, and also our workshops, they were actually not thought for professional singers, no, but like to show everyone that we have a voice, and it's such a beautiful tool, and it's a fun tool to use. No, if you find out your way to connect with your voice, it's just fun to use it.
Better. It's like when you finish a class of yoga or dancing or anything, or just going for a walk, you feel better, and it's about better. And singing, it's like in here, I was going to say before, in Mallorca, you have these great farmers, you know, or people not even here, but probably all over the world, people who work in the fields. They're singing all the time. You say, "Oh, they're so happy." They said, "I'm sure they're thinking about being famous. They're just they're just enjoying, you know, life and their voices
and the moment."
Yeah.
So what tip could you give, especially new teachers who are especially self-conscious when they are about to teach whatever, a class, no? Or maybe the very first time, if we do the very first time something, we're often nervous. First time teaching a training, or first time stepping up into a new studio we've never been teaching before. And if you feel you're nervous and you're about actually to teach, is there some advices or one advice you can give what to do in this moment? You said already a few ones, but maybe you can bring it together.
Yes, I think always remember why you're doing what you're doing. You know, because sometimes we forget. So if you really want to help people, that's all you have to do. I'm here to, a singer too. I'm here because I want to share something. I want to share my voice. I want I want, I want to be there for someone else. That's enough. If you're doing what you do, because I want to help someone. I want to give them what knowledge you have at the moment, because as a teacher, you're always learning every day, all the time. Even with the students, I learn a lot.
Yeah.
So it's about, remember you're here, because remembering why you wanted to do it in the first place.
It's actually something very similar. I shared recently also my Facebook group for teachers. We were talking about self-confidence now, and if we're very nervous and insecure in the moment for whatever reason, because confidence is not something stable, it goes up and down depending on what situation. No? So we're talking about, or one thing I actually use is like to remind myself it's not about me, but about the others. What you said, now why am I here? I want to share. Why am I here? Because my job, I love to give service. No, then just give and don't think about what is here, but about what is in front of you.
Exactly. This is very important, especially now these days. We need that.
Fantastic. And so if people are interested in working with you, how do they contact you best?
They contact you.
They contact me?
Yes, because I'm actually we all have our things. I'm not very good with this. It's the first time I'm doing this. I'm not really into telephone or media or internet.
You're not the first guest who says that. My last guest says he's actually a famous yoga teacher, and he is really bad and has no social media. Website doesn't work, so doesn't matter. But we can share your email here. So this is maybe something they contact you directly and write you an email, or they have my contact somehow somewhere on socials or my website, and they can contact me as I have your personal contact as well. No, I can really highly recommend you, as it's fun and very liberating, and again, it's just fun. No, and so important, our tool, the voice, but not just like, yeah. And it's something, because also as a yoga teacher, you learn a lot, like skills, like you learn philosophy, you learn how to sequence a class, and it's all mental, but it's actually beautiful also to learn something and not to think, just to learn from your heart and just enjoying. And the more you enjoy, the wider your skill set will be.
That we have this form of life that we are, and so we should make the best of it as much as we can, especially now. Especially now, it's very important because people are very confused, and they need just to realize, just relax, things will be okay, and if not, you will find solutions, because when you are tense, it doesn't help. So with yoga and singing, it's definitely needed. People just get back into their heart and to expand and help each other. That's what I realize. I'm so fortunate to be living here and to count my blessings, because I have a lot of living here in Mallorca and with my family, even though they're far away. And with the media, that's the good thing about media. You can connect in ways that you never dreamt about before. So I'm happy about that. And I can't really complain, because when you see what's going on in the world, I can only do the best I can.
And you do, no? You share a lot of joy when you're on the stage and you sing, or even if you teach what you're good at. Thank you so much, Sheela. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to share?
No, just we are here on this earth for a reason. And when we tap into that, it's going to be good. Everything's going to be okay.
Thank you so much again for accepting my invitation. And also thank you to all who are listening and were watching us. So I can just highly recommend again to contact Sheela and to work on the voice, to spread also a little bit more joy and fun and curiosity, to feel again the curiosity of a child, what you also say a lot in workshops, just being a child again.
Yes, very important.
It's an amazing therapy also, as you mentioned, also nowadays, like where the times we're at, it's important to find fun again and being a child in those serious times.
With the nature, connecting with all that we have, because very often we're looking for more, but in reality, we have everything is very close. It's just us being awake and just taking it. And if it's just a passing, like I have now my chickens outside.
we could hear them.
I never looked at them before, not like now. And it's just amazing. So the simple things in life makes a difference. No,
Muchas gracias, Sheela. So great. I haven't seen you for a while in person. I just bumped you once on the street into you, but it's also great in digital world to be able to connect and to hear your beautiful laugh. Muchas gracias. And have a great day, everyone. And you. Adios.
Adios.
Adios.